What
We're
up?
finally back live.
What up? What
Yes.
up? What up, everyone? How's everyone doing tonight? We
Great.
good.
Doing
Chilling.
good.
We
Doing
good.
good.
All right. Well, Black Pearl's in the driver's seat tonight. So, um, let me see. You on my left. To my left is Tyrone, aka Mr. Chocolate. How you
I'm
doing?
good. I'm glad to be live finally. People be playing games out here
You
in the
was you
street,
was
but
you was thirsty for the lot.
yeah, I was like, yo,
Give
what
me
we
some more of
doing,
that
man?
live. Give me some more of that live, right?
Yeah.
And then to my right is the beautiful, intelligent Dr. Royal Rain. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, we have some very handsome guests this evening. I'm gonna start off with
Facts,
the
facts.
professor.
Well,
I
Really,
can't even
really,
hate.
Sha?
yeah.
All right, Professor. I mean, you've been on the show before, but reintroduce yourself, please.
Uh, Good evening. It's great to be here again with the experience. I love every opportunity to share with y'all. As mentioned, I'm a professional. I'm looking forward to being educated as much as I'm going to try to provide some information this evening.
All right, all right. And then next to the professor, we have DJ Shaw Boogie. If you want to move, you better find yourself DJ Shaw Boogie. He gonna make them feet move. Introduce yourself, Shaw.
How
Okay.
y'all doing? Shamel Cherry, aka DJ Shaw Boogie, uh, Queens, New York. But
That's it.
I'm in
That's
I'm in
it.
Pennsylvania.
Ah,
I'm in Pennsylvania now, but Queens,
uh,
New York.
Queen.
Cool.
I mean, New York don't leave you. You know what I mean? That's
Cool.
Right,
with you. Right,
right,
right.
right.
There's
All
no
right.
Harlem. I don't mess with Harlem.
Oh
They be
no. Yeah. And last and definitely not least, we have Jay Cook. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on. My name is Jamal Cook, but I go by Jay Cook or Influential Jay Cook. You can find me everywhere.
All right. So
And we're
tonight we
going to give
want to.
you, hold on, I'm sorry, Boo. I got to jump in.
Yep.
So, Jay's being very, very, very humble right now. Let's be clear. I need you to stop playing. So,
I,
before we conclude tonight, we're going to make sure that we put influential information out there to
I,
promote because he is a entrepreneur. He has his own brand. So, I just want to throw that out there because he being
Hey,
real humble right now. But
we love
baby,
promoting, so
bring all the smoke. All right,
let
that's
me
it.
get
Go
Not
this.
ahead,
all the
girl.
smoke. My
All the
goodness.
smoke.
promote your stuff. I feel it.
So tonight we wanted to try something different. As you know, the experience has your regular three experience. You got Mr. Chocolate and Royal, myself. We get together. We get the ladies of the experience together. But something that we really don't see is men coming together to be real, to be transparent. And something that I shared with the professor earlier this week was this is what I shared with him. I want to share with you to show you where we're coming from with this topic. Okay. Um, this is an opportunity for us to be transparent about challenges that Black men have and have been facing. There are not enough platforms for men where we women, people, are just listening. We just find platforms that tend to have Black men as ATMs or the problem. And we know that Black men are so much more than that. They are a part of what makes up our community, our families, our brothers, our husbands, our partners, so forth and so on. So we did a survey or a poll, I guess it's better to say. We did a poll on the experience page asking, and I know there was so many other options we could have put out there, but we put a poll on the experience page, and the top two responses were, oh, the question I should say was, what would you say are one of the hardest challenges of being a man, Black man, in today's world? And the top two responses were being a good partner and a father, and balancing life's demands with your own needs. I thought that was very it was interesting but not surprising, if that makes sense. So I think my first question I want to start off with is, do you feel that there's a challenge just to get things going, or what do you feel is the challenge with truly being a Black man in today's society? Because these were just options given to you. You may feel something different, right? What do you feel is your personal, like the number one for you? Maybe number one and two, maybe one is too much, but those challenges that you experience that you would want to share with us. Now, we're listening. We don't just hear you now. We're listening. So I'll start off with Professor.
All right, thank you. I think, like you said, there's so many different answers to that question, right? But I think I would say first is you got to be on. It feels like all the time, and whatever on is, you got to be that on, and it's and I think that's the challenge or the difficulty or the experience, if you will, being a Black man is that you've got to be so many different things to so many different people, and depending on where you show up and how you show up, you got to throttle that down, or you got to or you got to hit the gas, because you can be too much for some people, and then you can be too little for some others. So.
Do you agree with? I see some of y'all nodding, so you're agreeing.
Definitely.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Professor said when he said you're either too little or too much. In some cases, I'm just speaking on from personal experience. It's like you're not. It's never enough. It's never enough. You could, if you as much as try to carve out a little bit of time for yourself so you can kind of decompress, reset. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This has to be done. That has to be done. You can't. It's like it's like he said. You have to be on all the time. There's no off. There's no put your feet up. There's no you could be sad. There's no you could have things on your mind. It's come on, let's go. 24/7, 365. And I have to face a lot when I'm out in the world.
Right.
I have to face a lot from the time that I walk out of my house to when I'm at work, while I'm on my lunch break, on the way home. I'm supposed to, when I step foot in the house, that this is supposed to be the place I'm supposed to be. I can let my hair down. I can let my guard down. I could stop being tough for a little while.
Right.
I gotta fight outside the house. I gotta fight to make it home.
Right.
Just to do what I need to do at work, and then I gotta fight that battle. I gotta fight to make it back home.
Right.
And then I gotta fight again when I get home.
Right. That's a lot.
No,
That's a lot.
It's tough. It's tough, and then you're supposed to be able to confine in your partner, confine in whoever you're sharing your home with, and that could be used against you. The very second that something doesn't go right.
Right.
And
So,
mm-hmm.
so I'm sorry to interrupt, but just you're saying some good stuff, but what it sounds like you're saying is one of your biggest challenges is finding a safe space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got
And
you.
just to piggyback off what Sean
Right. I was
saying,
coming to you, Jay. I was coming.
Yeah. So like, I'm 10 years in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The first 8 years of my marriage, I was managing in corporate America. So imagine the amount of stress I came home with every day. And you have to realize we still have this responsibility of being perfect when we step inside of our homes. And sometimes we're physically and mentally drained by the time we come home. So that work-life balance is like so hard because, you don't want an entry-level job because you have to take care of your family, but then comes the responsibilities of taking a higher level job, which drains you physically and mentally. So it's a lot to deal with as a Black man. and of course we have everything going on around us because our enemies are many and
Mm,
are different colors, different genders, and all have different agendas.
gotcha. Gotcha. And how do you feel about that, Mr. Chocolate?
Yeah, yeah. I can't argue with any of that, man. Yeah, I know the work home balance can be kind of complicated, especially depending on the demands of the person. Because of course you're expected to, you know, naturally you're expected to provide and make moves that you can't make moves being home all the time unless you got some kind of special business going on. So yeah, so that's definitely a balance of those expectations. And as far as like that emotional stuff, I know people say, people say, oh yeah, it's okay, you can open up. I don't believe that. That's bullshit. So because most times people don't really, people ain't really up on no man being real emotional and being sad and crying and all that all the time. Most time it's like, hey, I need you to function and do what you need to do to make everybody happy here. And so, you just don't have that luxury like that. And, somebody sees a woman crying, it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? See a man crying, man, get your punk ass up. What's wrong with you, man? Ugh, you soft.
But that doesn't mean you don't have those emotions, right? Or have feelings. Maybe it's better than
Yeah,
emotions.
you have the feelings, but as men, you learn to you gotta keep pushing. You ain't got time
So
to.
what do you do with all of that? Because that builds up inside. I mean, am I
Well,
wrong?
I think a lot of it is some people you pretend like it doesn't exist. So like I guess I would say this from a very young age, I was not I grew up in a single parent home and to be emotional outside of home or at school or whatever, you know, that's how you get preyed on. People who are emotional, if you are a young man
Mhm.
and you are overtly emotional, you know, and you in grade school, something gonna probably happen to you. You're
Yeah,
gonna be on the list of people that's getting their lunch money taken or doing other people's homework or whatever the case may be, right?
Look at you being nice,
Uh
getting your lunch money taken.
yeah, yeah, what I'm saying. But you take that how you will, right? But
Right,
what I had to quickly do, you have to create this your representative, right? Who who
right.
who who is who are you gonna show up as every day when you engaging with people? And you gotta, juke and jive on that depending on who you're dealing with, back to my earlier point. So that whole emotional thing, like Chocolate is talking about there, is you got to kind of stuff that down. You got to put that to the side because if you are seen as somebody who is weak, you are going to be preyed upon by everybody, men, women, black, white, brown. Doesn't make any difference. Back to what Jay Cook was talking about, they're going to come at you, and so you got to put that to the side and just pretend that doesn't exist. You compartmentalize it, is what they say. The
yeah.
doctors like Dr. Royal Rain, them people. That's what they say. You compartmentalize it, right? So,
Well, to kind of answer that question better, like how do you deal with it? Like I've learned just as I've grown and gotten older, like just communicating. Like you don't have to have an emotional response to everything, but like if I'm upset, I communicate it to people. I let them know when I'm at work and people piss me off, I run up on them. I don't yell at them, but I let them know. I teach them
yeah.
how to treat me. Like I'm the master of nice cuss you out emails that really ain't nice, that ain't really cussing, and just kind of let people know, hey, I'm not with that, and that way, because when you hold things in, that's when things blow up. And even like, with partners, you learn to kind of communicate and just understand other people, because you might understand, hey, this person is probably going to blow up on me. I see things coming more as I get older. So as I see them coming, I can kind of act accordingly. Whereas when you're younger, you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
You kind of get pissed off. It's like you get slapped out of nowhere. You're like, what the but if you see it coming, you're like, oh, they about to let me not
Yeah,
hurt
Yeah,
myself.
but
and
I
I
think that
hear
comes with
you.
experience, though. That
I
comes with
hear you, but
experience.
how do you battle the fact that there is a stigma with Black men? Even if you're just coming up to talk, there's a stigma that comes with you. Even if you're being nice, you could be showing all your teeth. There's a stigma of violence, a stigma of anger that comes. So I'm not trying to say what you're saying is not real,
Yeah,
Mr. Chocolate. I'm saying it's not realistic. If
So
we've been in an area for a long period of time, yes, okay, people are like, nah, that's just Tyrone, blah, blah, blah. But just Tyrone does not happen. And so how do you deal with it? Because come on, you're not a small guy.
I was about to say,
When
first
you
of all, he's
walk up on
yeah,
small.
someone that
It's a big difference. Yeah.
right.
yeah.
So is that something that crosses your mind even when you say, hey, I roll up on someone or I talk to them? Is that something that you have to think about? Like, wait a minute, let me think about how I'm gonna say this, or does that go through your minds? I mean,
Well,
anybody, but
I think we've had this conversation before with the other topic, but for me, no, I don't concern myself with how other people feel and their insecurities about me. That's on them.
right.
I
And that's
get
not the
I'm at
average black man.
I'm
It's
at
just
the
not.
point now where I could just give a damn. Because one, I know my natural state of being is good, it's right, it's righteous. So I'm not violent. I'm not any of those stereotypes. So if you feel that way, that's on you. And possibly you can kiss my ass or possibly not. And that's on you. I'm going to conduct myself as I conduct myself, and how you feel about it. Hey, that's on you.
But
And
is that the
sometimes
reality of the average black man? Can we do that?
it's
No.
not.
That
Thank you.
that
It's not.
that is
It's not.
that's not that is
Thank
not.
you. That's why I'm
I
like,
get what
yours
you're
is
saying.
very isolated.
I know we
I
Very
always
I
said
isolated.
I'm just. You said tell
No,
your
no, no,
tell
no. I said no. I said that is your experience, but it's not
yeah.
the average. That's what I'm saying. I agree. You're fine.
And as we on this platform, I want to spread the gospel that let it be other black men's experience. Tell them people kiss your black ass sometimes, because and it set you free. But or not, hey, Joe, like all y'all grown, but I'm just saying,
Everybody got to be set up
So
different.
what's
It
your
depends on how your life is
reality,
set up. Yeah.
Shamel? Because you're saying,
it's very
and I
liberating.
and I agree with you, Tyrone. It should be you should be able to tell someone to kiss you, right?
Oh,
No. I
it's wonderful.
But
I totally
Shamel,
I totally agree. I totally agree with Tyrone, but I know in reality
right?
those words cannot flow out of my mouth in the workplace. It's bad enough I may be getting looked at.
Oh, you don't say it. Y'all think I'm telling people to kiss my ass?
Right. Okay.
No,
No,
I'm
I know
saying.
that's not what you mean. I
So
mean,
Oh, okay,
let,
okay.
let me let me clarify. Let me
I
clarify.
Please.
misunderstood.
I'm
I'm sorry.
saying, and as I get older, I learn how to communicate in a fashion to make people feel like, oh, kiss my ass. I don't say it, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
I
I
don't
mis
say it.
I
You learn how to
misunderstood.
communicate in ways to let people know, hey, I'm not with that. Hey, you better not treat me this way. You know,
Yeah.
there's things like HR. There's things like, for example, the one we talked about the one time I was at work and they told me not to wear. I had a Malcolm X shirt. They called me in, and I didn't say, "Hey, kiss my black." I just explained just the way you're scared about somebody confronting you about what I'm wearing. I can have people in here saying you're a racist and you don't want that heat. Now I was like, you don't want a piece of racist, do you? You know, and put a little pressure on them. I
Okay.
wasn't cussing, wasn't fussing. I just let them know, hey, I have ways to put pressure on you too, you
Yeah.
know, politically, because we have political power. We have some pressure we can apply. And I'm quick to let people know I would apply that pressure on you and squeeze like a python if you don't come off of that BS you're on.
I get what he means.
Yeah,
I misunderstood. I
yeah.
totally
Okay.
understand.
Yeah, I
What you
don't tell people to kiss, man.
Yeah.
So
Unless it,
But
I'm
you
gonna
do
come.
we
I'm
do
gonna come
have
from
to
another angle. I'm
And I
gonna
have a
come from another.
question. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Royal. Ask your question.
No, my question is, so what, as we're talking about men and mental health and
Right.
your well-being, um, what I've heard thus far is that you feel like you have to be on go and
Right.
on all the time, and you can't necessarily be vulnerable. So my question for the panel is, when we take that in context, how would you, number one, would you say that that is what is perpetuating the increase of mental health challenges amongst our men? Number one. Number two, being that you all are a little older, compared to our young men of today, in their that are currently in school or in their 20s, right? Or early 30s for that matter, um, who do not have the ability to self-regulate. Can we have that kind of conversation? Can we talk on that for a bit?
So,
Yeah.
my lack of being able to be emotional has taken a toll on me mentally.
Okay.
It's actually probably was the cause of me being depressed in my 20s and my 30s. I'm an only child. I was raised in a house with just my mother, so I was a mama's boy. But you form this level of aggression when you realize that people pick at you for being a little emotional.
Right.
So
Mm.
when I step into the corporate role, corporate world, I have to actually suppress my aggressiveness, but still get my point across, be intelligent, be articulate, but actually be like stone faced. And that's so hard to do. It takes so much of yourself, like to suppress your confidence, not be conceited, but know you are the shit, but you cannot cross that line because people
Mhm.
will take it a certain way. So for many years, it was an inner fight, um, of depression, anxiety, because you have so much you have bottled up, but if you let it out, they're going to call you a typical black man. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, to be highly educated, to be articulate, to be well spoken is looked down upon. You're accepted in some circles, then other people look at you as a sample, like you're tap
Right.
dancing around to fit in. When I know I'm supposed to be in those rooms, regardless of how I act, but it's a certain stigma associated with being intelligent and uh, unemotional.
Yeah.
It depends on the circle. Some circles, yeah, I don't need to be in them circles. If they call me a Sambo for being articulate,
Hey,
and
bro, I managed for
Mm,
8 years. You realize the only people who actually got
yeah.
promotions under me were people who are not of this skin color because
Right.
they automatically assume they deserve something. So
Right.
when you didn't lean toward them, they
oh
talk
yeah,
bad about you, but you had other people of other ethnicities who worked genuinely harder every single day. So those were the ones I gravitated to. So
Hmm.
yeah,
it's not like I'm in the wrong circles, but you're managing multiple people,
right.
from various backgrounds. So they're all going to look at you differently if you're not just handing out promotions to your people. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
plus, it's like as a black man, it's almost like you you have to work twice as hard, if not three
Right.
times harder. You could be
Mm.
overqualified. You could be in a company where there's 10 people and you have 10 times better credentials, but you still have to show more. You still have to do more. You're still going to
Yeah,
get when they sit you down to do the evaluation
Hmm.
or whatever to talk about the promotion. It's like if it's 10 questions that you have to answer, they're going to add another 10 or another 20 just to try to have a reason that they don't have to give it to you. It's like you got to jump through hoops of fire and more hoops of fire
Right.
and then more hoops of fire again just to even in some cases be considered, and then you got to jump through the hoops and swing across the lake with
Right.
the alligators and all of
Crocodiles.
that. Oh,
yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
that's always been kind of the cultural norm, as far as America goes. Because you think about it, like just the baseball example, Jackie Robinson had to be a fucking Hall of Fame player to be able to be in the major leagues. Whereas you had this average ass white dude who's just terrible, is just playing for years. So if he was an average player, he would never made it. That's always been a thing where you have to be phenomenal, or you can't be mediocre.
you got to be extra,
Whereas
extra, extra, extra
mm,
phenomenal,
And
overly.
Yeah.
And
And
that's what
that's part of
everyone
and that
does.
can be a frustrating thing too.
Yeah, and you got to keep up that performance even
Yeah.
after you get the promotion. You can't even say, "Woo, let me relax for a minute."
But I'll take that even out of the work context. That's period. That's
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to my earlier point.
Yeah.
And
Is
I was
yeah,
going to
Getting to
ask
that.
that.
Yeah. This
I
is
was getting to
emotional
that.
yeah.
in general.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
more
getting to
So,
that.
concerned, me personally, about my interpersonal relationships with folks outside of work and what that looks like. And even in those instances, I recognize that I still have to be on because I have
mhm,
a role that I'm playing for each of those people. Whether that's a significant, again, speaking just in general, whether it's a significant other, whether it's a child, whether it's a parent, or a cousin. If you get some cousins, or you the ATM machine for your cousin to the
mhm,
point, or your uncle, or everybody got somebody in their family that they're relying on you, especially if
right,
you so quote unquote the person who did well, and then
Mhm.
Yeah.
they relying on you, to come
right.
through for that
It's
Yeah,
like,
mistake.
I deal with that every day. I have a high
Yeah,
level
you
of
gotta,
responsibility from my household to my mother's household to my stepmother's household because my father is no longer here. So I definitely understand we play a role each day when we go outside, and we have to make sure that we cross every T and dot every I and show up the best version of ourselves. I mean, with the current pressure we have on ourselves, that's hard, man. I can't lie to you. It's very hard.
And
and
what you got
So,
to have
I
is a
think that's something you got.
solid.
I think that's something like guys got to learn how to let go. Because I know for me, I kind of train people to, hey, don't look over here, because I don't know, because it's like the airport, the airplane, where they put a little oxygen mask down, and they say, hey, put
You
it
gonna
on
sit in the
yourself
emergency room.
before you
Yeah.
put it on the kid.
Mhm.
I say, look, I'm trying to get it, and so I'm putting the oxygen mask on me. Okay. Now you need to make sure you can put it on yourself, because I can't have you bring me down and now all of us down. You gotta give me a little more time before I start breaking y'all off.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's definitely limits to the access that they
yeah,
have, but we still have a huge responsibility as black men
It's
in our
still
family.
right.
draining.
So
It's draining.
do you feel that responsibility is one that you were conditioned into, like that role you were conditioned, or is that something that maybe you've placed on yourself over time?
So
I
me
would
and my
say it was.
father. Oh, go ahead,
I,
go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say hell yeah, it was conditioned. I'll say that. I was
Mhm.
yes, you're damn right. It is absolutely conditioned. One, because you're a man, period, you were conditioned to do that. And
Right,
two, definitely because you're a black man conditioned to do that. Because everybody's hopes and dreams from back at the home place are now on you to make it good for everybody else.
right,
mhm.
So I
I feel
think
like,
that the lack of the father in my home actually made me the way I am. My mother's a very strong black woman, and she conditioned me to the point that nobody's coming to save you. So I
right,
take on everything at all times without fear. And even if
Same
it
here,
leaves
brother.
me battered and bruised, I'm going after it. So I think a lot of the times I'm willing to take the burden of others on just because my mom raised me that way. I've been conditioned that I'm going to win regardless, and I got to
Amen.
go get it. Nobody's coming to save me.
Single
Right.
mom club. I'm right here. Yeah,
Yeah,
you better
exactly.
figure it. Her favorite
You
term.
better
You better
figure it
figure
out.
it out.
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
I also feel like um society, and we're living in the digital age now, to where a lot of people, when they see certain stuff on the internet, they feel like add water, stir, boom. So I feel like, on top of how we were raised, some of us was raised in single homes, some of us had two parent homes, but you saw the man do this, and wow, that looks cool. Dad's doing boom, 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 bam. So yeah, that's going to be hardwired in you to follow your father's footsteps. And then I also feel with social media, you know, love and hip hop, and this, that also plays a part, and on top of what's the things that's already set up in front of you.
right, right. So I know you guys talked about you had to do, and you're on. So that's obviously a measurement that others around you, whether it's professional, personal, put on you.
Mhm.
Is that the measurement that you put on yourself as well? Like, to make sure I'm the ATM, I'm the fixer, is that the measurement that you also Stan?
I wouldn't say we put it on ourselves. It's like it's what's expected. It's what's expected. I think I could say for just about every man in here, we don't we what we put on ourselves is to do what a man is supposed to do. We don't put the extra of being expected to, to be on all the time. I feel like we put on ourselves to, okay, I'm a man, I'm at a certain age. This is what I'm supposed to do I'm 47, so I feel like I'm 47. I feel like okay, you should be here. So we put a little bit on ourselves. We put a little bit, but I wouldn't say we put it on ourselves to a point to where it's driving us crazy, to a point where we can't even
Right. But if you're always on, there's something you're trying to reach, because you're not on for yourself, right?
Well,
the only time I'm not on,
go ahead.
I was like, the only time I'm not on is when I'm asleep. And I don't say this to be just to be saying it or a guilty thing. My entire day is driven by being something for someone else.
Right. So you're living up to their standard.
Right.
Is that not what
and
that
I don't
is?
even, well, I think it's thrust upon me, like Shaw is saying. I think like Cook is saying too. First of all, it's been so long now. I don't really don't know another way to be other than that. I've got things that I need to accomplish for the people who I love and care about and the community in which I live in, and so I gotta go get it done. I don't have time to be extra emotional about this, and I gotta go get it done. But what I have done, once I crossed the age of 40s, I got a real good group of core male friends, and we have a little prayer meeting every morning, and we encourage each other, talk about different things, politics, love, life, everything, and encourage each other. And then before we end that call, every day somebody praying for the group, for everybody. And then I got other good friends like Chocolate and other people who I've stayed connected with over the last 20 years that I can call if I got an issue. So I would say I'm tired all the damn time because I'm thinking about how I'm going to do something for someone. And which is not a negative thing. I don't want you to think it's a negative thing. It's just who I gotta be. Yeah.
Because a lot. Because I hear people say like, "What I gotta do." Look, everything I do, I want to do it for the people that I'm doing it for. Like my family. Like I have no issue doing what I'm doing for my family, and so it's what I want to do. I came up. 2 parents came with a dad. He worked hard. He took care of everything, and I always respected and loved him for that. Now, how hard he worked, I ain't trying to work that hard. I'm trying to work a little bit smarter, take the next step up, next generation. But everything I do, I want to do. So I don't feel as a man. I don't feel like I have like this burden that I'm dragging around. It's cool. I do it because I want to do it. I get my hustle on because I want to get my hustle on to get what I need to get. So everybody that I care and love for is good. I want to do that. It's I don't have any like mental strain or burden of that. That's
you just carrying the load different. You just carrying the load different.
Yeah, it's just how we carry the load. Like clarify, I want to do it.
Likewise, I want to do it. But I think it's how we carrying the burden. Yeah.
Let me tell you what I'm hearing, because that might be another thing. How about I say that, right? I hear that you have a standard or an expectation to be on at all times, except when you're sleeping, right? I hear that you want to do these things. I hear that it can be burdensome, but you've learned in your 40s, which clearly says everyone does not start where you are right now as a Black man, right? So I hear that. But how did you get there? If you were always on, if you didn't have an outlet, I hear men say that people don't care about how we feel. People don't listen to what we have to say, just keep going. That's not healthy. You may be healthy where you are now, but you didn't get there overnight. So my question is, how did you get here? Because there's a price for wisdom, right? There's a price for wisdom. Everybody has some wisdom from things that they went through. I think Cook was, not to say you guys aren't being transparent, so I'm not saying it like that, but Cook was real transparent. Like, yo, I was depressed. Yeah. My brain was was not where it needed to be, not where I am now, which means there's a burden and a trial that you have to go through as a Black man. So I want to understand, how did you get through that?
And I want to say something quick about the depression thing. And I love him and I appreciate him for saying that, right?
Right.
But there's a time and point in time, and maybe even still today, that they would say him even saying that, those thoughts of being depressed, hey man, that's weak.
Right.
That's weak. You don't need to don't keep
Well, now
don't
that's
tell them
good
don't tell people
Yeah, it's
don't tell
gotten a
people
lot
that. Keep
better
that to
now.
yourself. Yeah.
So you're not even allowed to have a vulnerable, which I don't think he was being transparent, which was fantastic. But you're saying in your role as a Black man, there is no room to be like, bro, this
It
heavy.
goes back to what I was saying, even as a kid. I'm telling you, like, if you were perceived as somebody who was weak as a child, especially if you grew up in a single parent home where the mom is the person, you would be preyed upon. So you have to learn, man. Hey, man, you either got to be really, you got to be a couple of different things. You got to be really smart. You got to be clever. When I say smart, you got to be clever. You got to know how to, fight. You got to know how to play the dozens. You got to know, you got to be able to defend yourself. And you do that early, because if you don't, you're gonna be taken advantage of, and that carries on into adulthood too.
So
Hey, Pearl, I think the biggest thing you talk about, the growth and the progression, you learn how to fail forward.
Right.
I think a lot of the burden that I have now of being responsible came from me being irresponsible. I had my son at 23 years old. Wasn't the best father probably for the first 5-6 years because I didn't know how to be a father. Now that's all I think about is how my kids are doing, how my wife is doing, how my mother is doing, how my stepmother is doing, how my sister is doing, how her kids are doing. Like, that's bottom line to me because I made the mistakes in my 20s. That's where the burden comes from. And not only inside of our homes, we think about, I heard Professor say, our communities. We are mentors, we are coaches, we're barbershop therapists, we are fathers to our nieces and nephews. There comes a high level of responsibility with what we do, but we realize that if it's not done by us, who is going to do it? So when we ask for that grace, when we say, man, I'm tired, and the next thing you hear is, I need gas in my truck. I just wanted to put my feet up. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what, and we don't think about it like, man, I wish he would stop. We say, all right, go grab our keys, put our shoes on, and go do it.
Yeah.
And that's just basically how we're built.
It's just like that piece that you shared earlier in the group about the spoken word piece. When a brother tells you he's tired, hey man, listen to that. And it may mean various things. What is that? Hey man, I'm tired. And I reflected on myself saying that and saying I'm tired in the instances where I have said it and what I meant by saying it. Hey man, I'm tired. And it didn't necessarily mean physically tired, but I didn't know how to explain that to other people what I mean by, hey man, I'm tired.
And sometimes men feel guilty for being tired because you'll hear I'm tired, or because like lay at home you may hear I'm tired and like, oh, what you tired for? Like whatever you. Sometimes people don't realize what you've done or what you've been doing throughout the day. It's like all right, well, so sometimes there's some guilt with that.
So Black men have a low mortality rate. We know that Black men die younger,
right,
and are dying younger for various reasons, whether it's health or gun violence or whatever else, right? So when we look at that as a challenge as Black men, what are your thoughts as far as, again, I'm listening to you all, and you're always on. The only time you're not on is when you're asleep.
Right.
And you have all of these demands upon you. So how do you take a moment to consider your mortality?
Oh.
Do you even
don't ask the health nut? Don't ask the health nut about it. Let everybody else.
And
those
do you
doctor's appointments? That's what does it for me.
consider mortality?
That's
Do you
right. There you
think
go,
about
brother
dying?
Baker. The fitness person, exclude him. He don't get to have a point of view.
Okay.
So, but for the regular men up here, that's not working out 20 hours a day, maybe.
Oh, come on now.
I work out 3 times a week.
You cut out too. So maybe it's
Hey, well,
I'm
they
kidding.
might
I'm
have to
kidding.
cut
I'm
me out
kidding.
because I
Yeah.
have an addiction because that's how I
Oh well.
process.
To
I
But
process food.
are you working
uh,
out for health? Or are you working out because you got the
well, to
muscle?
Oh,
hell with all y'all. Then
bro,
It's
I'm going
it's
Nah,
3 days a week for like 30
bro,
minutes though.
so
it's
so
it's for health.
that's a. I'm glad you asked that question because as I get older, I used to work out just to be sexy, and then but as I get older, I find myself working out, being like, "Oh, this blood work gonna be good." Like
right.
just like I'm trying to
That's
get
true
good
though.
blood work. I'm trying to make sure
Cholesterol.
collect like all that. Because when I was younger, I ain't give a damn about. I just wanted the six pack and I want to look good. Now I'll be working out just like thinking like, "Whoa, this cholesterol is going to be dropping." You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm thinking now. And I still want to look decent, but it's more about the health.
And I
Um,
was on the other side of that. I was holding it down for the Cuddly Brothers. I was okay with being overweight, as long as I look good in these bow ties and these cardigans and everything. I was okay with that. But now that the stuff don't work like that because I got a wife and a little girl I got to look out for, right? So
yeah,
now to the point, I do go to the doctor. Like Jay is saying, hey man, something hurts. I go to the doctor. Thank God for healthcare, and now I got a good job to pay for. I can go and I get ready.
right,
And
right.
and I'm living with type 2 diabetes, so it is important that I do a lot of things differently. So that 30 minutes, so every 3 days, give or take, while I'm doing some extra movement. Makes sense. I got this damn watch on still, so I can get these steps in from here to the bedroom when I leave. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
so
Trying
but
to live, man.
Well,
but that mortality thing that adds another level of pressure to it. Now I'll tell you this because in my profession, I'm a professional fundraiser, and so we talk about plan giving all the time, and so I try to encourage people, hey man, make sure you got life insurance, you got a will, you got all these things prepared. That's a whole nother conversation, right? But because I do that work often, and I see how other people leave wealth behind by using those vehicles, I'm keenly aware of what it means for me to be healthy and whether you can be insured or not to leave some money behind for somebody else when you leave here. Because one thing for sure, we all leaving here. It's just a matter of when and how.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
well,
and I know for me mortality, being a guy who was like a combat vet, and I saw death at a young age, so I feel like me and death are like homies. Like I've had like anxiety about it before. That's why I have like a million life insurance policies, and I've always felt like I'm not gonna live like long. I've always felt that way, because I've seen death, I've seen you know like every like most of my life has died from like diabetes and shit like that. So I just always felt like, while I'm here, I'm gonna live and I make sure that I take care of my people, make sure they're good when I'm gone. So when I'm gone, everybody's gonna be straight. Like, and that's like for somebody that has like a family, that's what you think about. I want everybody to be straight. I don't want no damn GoFundMe. I don't want y'all selling no barbecue plates. That's just terrible to me. I don't that ugh. Like I want everybody to be like, oh, my life has changed. We sad he's gone, but we can have a life now. Look at what he left. Oh, this is great. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, mortality is definitely always a thought. When I'm working out, I'm thinking about, hey, I want to be around. I want to be here as long as I can. So it's always a thought as a black man because that's the thing. We always hear about us dying sooner and leaving early. So we got to prepare for it, but
Yeah.
then try to prepare for that not to be the case for us.
So when
Yeah.
we
So
talk about mortality and exercise,
Yes.
a lot of mine was physical. A lot of mine was to make sure the blood work was good. But a lot of mine is mental now.
Yeah.
For the simple fact is, with all these pressures we deal with, I pray each day I don't crash out.
Okay.
mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm a very centered person, but there is a side of me that's still probably filled with anger just from childhood, like just the stuff we went through. Professor, I know you understand.
Yeah.
Like nobody is going to play my face.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
you get to the point to where you realize that this exercise actually calms you down, makes
It
you
does.
makes you more centered, makes you think through things as you walk on the treadmill or you run or you lift weights. So it's not necessarily so much physical now. I've lost the 70 pounds I need to lose. Now it's the mental weight that I must
kudos.
Yeah.
must move
Right.
right.
That's fair though. And I would
You know
say,
what I'm
Pearl,
saying?
that's the only other time of the day that I feel like is mine.
Right,
Is that
right.
30 minutes or 40 minutes I'm at the gym. I feel like that's just me. And not even in the
Right.
car when you're driving back and forth. That belongs to the people on the road that you're trying not to
Mhm.
get killed by. But that
Right.
time on the treadmill,
Right,
that's me. It's mostly me talking to me or talking to God about something. Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And you got to find those things. My other thing is like anybody who knows me knows I love to go fishing. And so when I'm going fishing, like it's like because I'm not no religious dude at all. I
Black
don't.
man heaven right there,
It's
man.
weird to me. But I go fishing and like it's more spiritual. Like I talk with my dad. I'm in tune. Like the breed. I'm just. It's like it's a whole different thing. That's when I sit and I do a lot of my self reflection. I think about my life. I think about things, and it's like a time that I need. I gotta have it. So and I'm overdue for a good fishing trip. But no, that's my time where I just kind of sit and I like to be to myself and like that's you got to have something like that working out. You need something. Some guys play the video game. I do that too. So you got to have that time where you kind of get to yourself and kind of reflect on stuff.
For me,
That's what helps me. And I go to therapy. I talk to therapists, and kind of uncool thoughts and reasons why I feel a certain way. You gotta do those things. If not, because a lot of us have that monster inside. We got that monster, and that monster is there. And if you don't be careful, it come out when you don't want it to, you know. And I've had to use it, when I needed it. But that monster is inside. That's why I say I leave people alone because I don't know if his monster is out or what. Every man's got a monster in him. You gotta control it.
So let's talk about
for
the
me,
monster
I
for a
think Shaw
second.
was gonna say
I'm
something,
sorry, Shay.
right?
Go ahead,
Hold
baby.
on.
No, you're
oh, I'm
fine.
sorry, no problem. For me, I'm currently dealing with my second divorce. So the exercising is that's helping along you know with me DJing. Even though I'm playing music for other people when I'm out, but when I'm doing it in the house and I can go through records that I want to go through that I like, and it's therapeutic. So
Yeah,
not
I know.
only not only is the it does working out in the house, that's helping not only with the blood work and to get the um what am I was taking a medicine for oh my god, what was I taking?
Cholesterol, high blood
High
pressure.
blood pressure. Thank you. I
Yeah,
was taking
it's one of them.
yeah,
The
I
It's
black,
was
the
one of
black.
taking
them,
I was
yeah.
Looks
taking
like
medicine.
it. It's
I
I
was
one of
started
them.
going
taking
down the list. It's one of them.
yeah, I was taking something for high blood pressure, so I'm weaning myself off of that, and I'm just the exercising is helping me to get through this divorce proceedings and everything.
Right.
So,
That's just what I can't.
Um, I
That's
know
just
you had a question, Royal, but
I got a big question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to extend a little bit of the question you had already before you get a new one. So we're talking about mortality and things of that, but how does that affect you when you see your fellow Black man getting killed, getting harassed? Because that's very public, in your face. How does that affect you? And because that comes with one man gets killed on camera. Now we're all the stereotypes pulled
Mhm.
out. And so how does that make you feel? Because you're talking about, okay, blood pressure and cholesterol, but what about
Yes.
stopped at the traffic light for a break?
It's trauma
Or
for me.
Yes.
It's trauma
hurts.
for me. I hate to see the videos. I hate that people repost it on social media. I hate seeing it on CNN. I hate seeing it on MSNBC. It is trauma for me because I feel like it could be me or my son at any time.
Yeah.
With that said,
Yeah.
Same
with
here.
that said, lately at my age, I'm seeing way more people die of health issues. But
right,
y'all
right,
go ahead.
right,
Y'all go ahead.
right, right, right.
No,
I
I
agree.
think the same thing. Go ahead. No, go ahead, brother.
Uh-uh.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm a constant consumer of the news every day, all day, which is probably another part of some of my challenges, right? But in doing so, I often think about, I mean, how did that happen? Like what caused that? And Tyrone talked about the monster inside of you, right? I was in the grocery store yesterday. I was on the phone with my wife, and I went into the freezer to get something out of the freezer. I'm talking to her, and a person is a woman, but anyway, so she pulls up behind me, and so when I back out of the freezer, right, I said, I didn't realize that she had her cart right behind me, which is very inconvenient in the first place. As soon as I back out of the freezer, and I said, I beg your pardon, excuse me, right, and then I said to myself, and she didn't say a word to me, didn't acknowledge the fact that I said it or anything. And I said to myself, what the hell am I apologizing for? I was in the freezer and she put the thing behind me. What am I apologizing for? But my single black mama taught me to be polite and be kind and courteous, and that was the right thing to do. And I say that to say some people, hey man, y'all know I like trap music too. I like T.I. I'm a paraphrase. You may see me on the yard, but you don't know me. You may see me around, but you don't know me, man. Don't let this fool you, man. Don't act crazy like that. And so I won't do anything like that anymore. I say that to say she didn't know how I would respond to that, and I know how she would respond to that.
Right.
And so I'm a lot more cognizant today because I got to get home to my wife and my daughter about how I would respond to things like that when I believe I'm being provoked, even be it, as Nas say, be it blatant or indirectly. When I'm provoked, how I respond to that. So right now my focus is I need to get home. I need to get home to other people who I'm responsible for. So I will put these other things I would pick up very easily to the side so I can get home.
But that's even more stressful. You have to choke that down
Right.
in order to get home.
Right.
When you feel disrespected, as a black man, automatically whatever happened, you're in the wrong.
Right.
So you have to choke it down just so you can get home in one piece. Because if those people do come, guess who's the first person they're going to assault?
Being a big black man, and with a deep voice, I have to teeter all the time on the line of being assertive or aggressive.
Right.
Assertive or aggressive. All the time. So much that it is sickening that I have to have that conversation with people. You are being overly aggressive or you are being aggressive. No, I probably was stating my point very firmly. Don't think I was being aggressive. And now I got to go back and replay that in my head 1,000 times. Well, maybe I was being aggressive. Maybe I was, I don't know. So,
I mean, I know we're sitting down, but I'm 6'3", 280 pounds. I deal with this every single day. Every single day that I have to word my emails correctly. I have to get on Zoom calls and talk correctly, have a certain expression on my face, all of this to ensure that I keep my job, one thing, or even in stores that it doesn't escalate to a point to where I'm going to have to defend myself. Because as a black man, I think that's the biggest thing that we need to be able to do is defend ourselves and our family.
It's a balancing act.
We'll still be considered wrong.
It's a balancing act.
This is the part of being on all the time, going throttling up or pushing the gas. Throttling down or pushing the gas, rather.
It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. If you fall this way, if you fall that way, it's almost like a no-win situation in a sense. Would I trade being a black man? No, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it. I absolutely wouldn't trade it. Would it be great if we didn't have all of this piled on us from the time of birth? That would be great. But
like Joe Biden said about President Obama years ago when he was a senator, he's very clean and articulate. He's very clean cut and articulate. Like what does that mean? When you're talking about somebody in general, what does that mean? And so you got to play the part. Right. You have to play the part that you are in.
You speak so well. You speak
right.
You mean I
speak
so well. Like,
what does that mean? I'm confused. What does that mean?
Like I have actually thought about changing my name on a resume from Jamal to JD Cook, just so they wouldn't know who I was when they look at my resume. And
I have an ethnic name. I have an ethnic given name, and I go by my initials. Yeah.
They need teachers. They can get this Tyrone. Fuck that.
I love my name. Yeah.
I don't have that problem. Hey, but to answer your question, that for me, when I see like the police shootings and stuff, the first thing I do now is take a step back and look at the agenda, because a lot of that stuff is meant to gaslight us and to get us, to manipulate us some way politically. There's always some agenda there. First thing I do is take a step back. Who's showing me this? Why are they showing me this? What actually happened in this situation? because I see so many people get emotional when they see these things, and they go, "Oh my God!" It's just like I'll be honest. I don't. I get what I'm just a very kind of logical person. So if you tell me something, I'm asking you, what's the facts behind that? Like I don't feel like when I step out of my door, I'm being hunted like a deer. Like I hear that a lot, and we get a lot of. I don't like hyperbole. Like yes, it's a problem. It's fucked up. But I don't feel like when I step out of my door, oh shit, they're coming for like people and they'll put that out to black people like you're being hunted. You're I walk out my door and I take a deep breath. I'm good. And if somebody pulls me over, I do what I'm supposed to do. Now, if they do me, burn this motherfucker down because I'm doing everything right. I'm 10 to 2. So if they do get me, burn it down. Be clear. But I don't walk around worrying about it. I don't carry everything that they say about black people. I don't wear it all the time. I don't carry it.
But were you always there? Can we be realistic? Were you always there, or it took time to get there?
Hey,
What do you mean? Was I always there?
Were you always like, I don't worry about it, I don't carry it, I don't? You just were like that from like a child, from a teenager, or did you grow to?
Well, as a teenager, I mean, I didn't worry about a lot when I was a teenager. So I mean, I'm talking as an adult. I tend to not carry
Right.
everything that people put on black people, and I know other people like that too. Everybody doesn't get super emotional about it. It's mostly people you see like on TV that the media puts in front of you, and they gaslight everybody, and then it's kind of a self-fulfilling thing. So now you get pulled over, and you feel like you about to get hunted down and killed, and you start running. Like you see that all the
And I
time.
understand
People
that.
just start running.
I think the reason I'm asking you that is because Jay, you're saying I just don't let it bother me, but Jay was very honest and said it is something that that's what I'm saying. So did you just get there? Did you just wake up and like bump it? It is what it is, or did it take time for you to say, I realize this is?
Let me try to thread the needle between the two of them. Like I'm aware of it all the time, but I don't let it preoccupy me.
Yeah.
Like this is like I can't allow it to take up but so much space and what I'm doing every day. But I am aware. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
I think that's actually why I turn it
I
off.
didn't say it doesn't bother me. Like you said, I'm not. I don't let it gaslight me. I don't buy into the hyperbole. I don't walk around saying. I don't walk around telling the young black boys I mentor, "You're being hunted. Be afraid when you walk outside." No, I tell them, conduct yourself, be an upright man, act accordingly, and decrease your chance of things. That's no guarantee, and be aware of things, but don't walk around. I don't like when people try to gaslight me into being a victim. I don't feel like I'm a victim.
Gotcha.
I approach the world with aggression, and I've been there. And to answer that, because like you always ask, how did you get there? I've been that way for a long time. I see the world as America goes to the aggressor. The aggressive motherfucker wins in America. Now, if you be the victim and you always ask, please help me, please help, look at black people. All them years we're getting our ass whooped, and all of a sudden we started boycotting and raising a little bit of hell. All of a sudden we got a civil rights bill. Before that, if you keep asking and hoping, it goes to the aggressor. They're aggressive. You got to be aggressive back.
So that everything that has been said leads to my question, because black men are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated.
Right.
So understanding that challenge as black men on this panel. See, okay. My question for you all is, taking everything we kind of talked about tonight, which is so much more. We need to scratch the surface.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come back to this. Absolutely.
But how would you mentor? How would you mentor a younger you or a younger youth in your community to avoid being incarcerated? Because we see young men going into the system hand over fist. Let's be honest. And if you don't, and if y'all ain't seen it, just go downtown to your courthouse and just sit in the courtroom. Pick a courtroom
Yeah.
and you'll see it. And we ain't even talking about going into the jails or the prisons. So can we have a conversation about that and the challenge of Black men and incarceration, or just getting caught up in the system, and how to avoid that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
I would.
like I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, brother.
I feel like a lot of the resources that I may have grown up with don't don't really exist anymore. We had
Pray
different
tell.
we had after school programs. We had the Boys and Girls Club. We had mentors. A lot of stuff was available.
Yeah.
And I feel like as time went on, fundings got cut for this, fundings got cut for that. Um, this one passed away. The torch wasn't carried, and I kind of feel like with today, it's like you're battling, trying to be someone's mentor, trying to be somebody's big brother or OG or unc, as I'm referred to. I'm referred to as unc because I work at a high school, and then you have, unfortunately, you have what you see on social media. You there's it's a lot of challenges, that goes with that, because the youth, they see this, they see, oh, this is fast, this is easy, and you're trying to let them know, hey, you could get to that, but everything is like microwave now, and that's what a lot of people want, reward, but don't necessarily want to put in the work for it.
Right.
So it's a battle. It's a battle to try to mentor. For me, I would do my best to try to, if I was able to mentor myself again, or to mentor myself as a youth, or to mentor, I'm a speak about my examples, and do my best to show, hey, if you do this the right way, this will come with it. But if you want to, you'll be a knucklehead, this could happen. I'm gonna do what I can to share those experiences.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I'm mentoring. I just got done mentoring about 40 young men, and I coach, I teach
Friday.
young men all the time. And so, so one thing I find with young men is a lot of times they don't have like a male figure that tells them the truth. Like I'm that person that tells them the truth, that tells them, hey, you're fucking up. Hey, this path is not the right path, and then I explain why. The way you're acting is not going to get you success. I tell them, hey, the way you're emotional, you think you're being manly, but that's a very feminine trait. You're acting like a female right now. And I tell them the truth, because a lot of times with the kids, when they act tough and they act really emotional, it's just they're overly emotional. I explain to them, hey, a lot of times a man's going to have logic. I explain what logic is. Be logical about the situation. Why would you fight right now? Why would you do this right now? Think about the consequences of it. Just giving them examples. A lot of times the kids want tough love. They want tough love, and they want discipline. They're not getting it at home. A lot of times these kids are going home and they're going to their room and they're never seen again until it's time to eat. They eat, go back to their room. They're not seen again until it's time to get them to go to school, and nobody's giving them any guidance. The guidance comes from YouTube. You ask kids now, what do you want to be? You ask kids what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a YouTube influencer. A girl told me I'm gonna be I'm gonna marry a basketball player. Legit said that was her like life goal to get cute enough to marry a ball player. You know, it's just a lot of things that just aren't being put out to them. A lot of common sense things, and it's kind of scary, honestly. But all you can do as a mentor is give examples, be the example, and then other than that, show the kids love because a lot of kids don't get shown love like they should. You know that goes a long way. You
Yeah.
know, showing that you care about them, and then when the kid knows you care about them, then they open up to you to listen to what you got to say. But if kids feel like you just talking down to them and you don't care about them, they ain't trying to hear what you got to say.
To piggyback off of what Tyrone said, I commend you for being able to keep it real. Because some children, especially today's youth, unfortunately, you keep it real with them. They want to come back and hurt you because you telling them the truth. You know, for you to keep it 100 with them, and you know, also, it's like I think I speak for all of us when I say for us growing up, when we got home, how was your day at school? What happened? Da 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 da. This, that, and third. How you feeling? We had that. We had someone, but now it's like now, like he said, nowadays some kids can have both parents, and it's everybody's on their phone. Everybody's focused on something. The kid to come in, and it's unfortunate you have that high rate of teenagers unaliving themselves because they have a lot on them too that they shouldn't have on. And then at the same time, they do feel like I don't have no one to speak to. I don't have no one when I get home. They could have a house full of people. Everybody could be there. Everybody that can listen and that can talk and that can help. But you got these youth that's like I don't really mess with my family like that. My family, they telling the truth when they say that. For us growing up, we had that. We
that's kind of what I was saying. So at a young age, not just men, but we're talking to men. They're on too. Someone is always on, so no one stop. That's what my question was saying. Like you're saying, hey, they don't have no one to talk to. They're not just gonna be in their 40s. Some of them like, forget it. I cannot be on all the time. I cannot.
None of us really have people to talk to. We're all actors. I'm part of it. We're all actors playing a role in one big production. Everybody is, and how we interact with each other, it shows up. So I mean, I agree with you. With what you're saying is everybody's on all the time, and it's tiresome to everybody. What's worse today, Doc, though, to your question, for young brothers today is just the nature of society that we live in, and I've mentioned this up here before. The construction of our social enterprise as it relates to entitlement programs, welfare systems, public education, capitalistic society, private education, all of those things impact how we interact with one another and how we're set up to. Some of us are set up to win, and then some of us are set up to lose. Some of us are set up to work for each other. Some of us are set up to hire other people. And so the most important thing, I give advice to people, and I grew up with a lot of old people in addition to being in a single parent home because my mama was going to school at night to get her GED and get her associate's degree. So I stayed with a bunch of old people. So part of that is you mind your business and you stay out of other people's affairs. My adopted granddaddy said this really good. He said, if you take 6 months out the year to tend to your business and the other 6 months leave everybody else alone, everything be all right. You worry about yourself, and you worry about the people who you are responsible for. And I've taken that into adulthood, into being a father and a husband. I mean, I worry about the business that pay me. I worry about the people I got to take care. I got 2 ladies at the house and I'm responsible for, including my mama, right? So worry about that first off, man. I would say to a young brother, and this stuff we see on television, it's entertainment. I'm so thankful that we grew up, whether it's IG or TikTok or whatever it is we're looking at now, Facebook, all that stuff I see it as what it is. It is entertainment. It is meant to be enjoyable. It's not the Bible. It's not something I should be living by, trying
Right,
to imitate. And I mean Bible
right,
literally and figuratively. It's not some pre-prescribed version of how I'm supposed to interact with people. That's ridiculous.
right.
But we got a lot of people who think that's what it is, and so
Hmm.
they
But they
behave in
have
that
no
manner.
foundation if they don't have anyone to talk to. To be
Yeah.
like, bro, that's not it. That
Stop,
ain't
stop
it.
doing that. Don't do that. That's
Right.
stupid.
That's me.
That's how you end up
That's when that
dead. That's how
dude.
you end up poor. That's how you end up pregnant. That's how you end up being a dad of
All of
50,
it.
11 million children. Well,
Oh,
that's how you do things like that. You see the people like they used to say back in the day, even Jay-Z wears a suit to court. I mean, it's just things like that, for instance,
Yeah.
that you bring up that you gotta be, it's how you move, man. It's how you move. And if you want something better for yourself, learn how to play the game and play a role that you're comfortable with playing. Don't be an imposter. Be some whoever you're gonna be comfortable being that person and play that role, man.
Yeah, it's funny when
so,
you mentioned Jay-Z wearing a suit to court because I make my football players dress up before football games. And like the first time they do it, the ones who are new, they be so like, oh my God, you think I'm asking them, hey, chop off your left finger. Um, right, and I'm like, look, and then, but here's the crazy thing: when they do it, you can see it. They walk in school, and all of a sudden, you see, and they be kind of
They
like,
move different.
oh
Exactly.
shit, look, everybody, the teachers looking at them like with respect. They're like, yo, hey, what's going on? Hey, you can just see it, but no one's ever exposed them to it. And then the other thing that is missing is just one word: the word accountability.
ooh,
Like I'm big on
thank
accountability with my guys, and it's an introduction to a lot of them because they have no concept of they get in trouble. First thing I ask them is, "How did you get here? How did you get here?" And they'll blame someone. No, no, no. How did you get here? And it
Right.
takes a while, and finally, when they start to actually see, oh shit, okay, yeah, I did have oh, okay, and then you can start getting better. But a lot of our young people don't have that because it's just not something that's hammering home.
got
A
you.
lot of adults don't have it. So
So
I
Doc,
would love
I
to
would
hear
probably
Jay Cook. Oh, you're about to do it. Jay Cook answer
yeah,
that
I
question.
probably would tell my younger self to not be afraid to be you. Walk in the gifts that you're given, and take the opportunity to stand out amongst a lot of people who all look the same. Um,
yeah,
I grew up in one of those communities where crime was like our community was the first community to probably see crack in my small town. So I realized that I made a lot of mistakes because I was afraid to be who I was. I come from a highly educated mother, so there was no reason for me to be doing what I was doing at a young age. So I would tell myself, continue on the path that you are because you're special. Because a lot of kids do not hear that.
Right.
be yourself. See, that's what Black Pearl be killing me for all the time. You're not.
What?
Everybody's not like that. You're not
But it's
normal.
the truth.
You're not. It's not the same.
It's
You
not.
be
Listen,
so annoyed when I talk about.
you know, and I don't hide it.
Yeah,
Do I
but
hide it?
you living your unique life though. You're
Jay.
a
Jay was
veteran.
Jay
You
was
You
honest with
so
his
so
answer.
yeah,
so
you
here
living your
on the
unique life.
experience, we respect everyone's experience, but we also need to be honest that sometimes, Mr. Chocolate, you stand alone. You stand alone. You don't but that doesn't mean it's bad.
It's
So let me
like I
say
tell
that. It
like I
doesn't
tell the
mean it's
boys I
bad.
mentor, separate yourself.
Right now, and it's fine. But also sometimes we need to go, I can get there. Tell me how you got there. And sometimes the person who's not there doesn't need to hear about where you are, but how you got to where you are so they can emulate and continue to walk in this legacy that you're leaving of standing apart. So it's not an annoyance. I'm just like, this is good. Tell them how you got there so they can do
Clean
it
that
too.
shit up. All right.
Versus he stands apart, so I can never do that.
Mhm.
So
So,
anyway,
Pearl, I do have to agree with you on that. A lot of people see the finished version and don't actually see the work that you had to put in yourself.
right.
I'm entirely one of I totally am a testament to I've always been this person, but it took time for this person to like evolve. Like I was a caterpillar, now I'm a butterfly. You get what I'm saying?
Fly.
So listen here, butterfly, before we tap out. I need you to fly, my little butterfly. Tell them about influential life,
Yeah,
please.
thank you. And that's what I was
All
gonna
right, so
say.
I
influential
got you, sis.
lifestyle is genuinely about positively impacting people through daily interactions. So it's just basically giving people a reason to smile each day, putting that positive energy out. Like you said, Professor, we don't know where someone is at a certain day. So in your interactions of talking to them, seeing them passing, smile, start a conversation, and we also do philanthropy, mentorship. Like I said, I managed for so long, so I actually do like leadership classes with some of the people I mentor within the corporate setting. But I just felt like it was a great way to transition from it's through hip hop. I had a little street side to me, but it was a great way to show people that I had evolved and just actually give them a blueprint of what they can do to actually follow their dreams. I do sell merch, and 20% of that goes to philanthropy, some type of volunteering. But it's more about the example I can set for brothers who look like me, brothers who are in their 30s and their 40s and want to make that transition, but don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
Doing something positive is more important than anything negative that you could possibly do.
Amen, brother.
So
Congratulations.
how can they find you on Facebook?
You can find me on Instagram at influential J Cook. You can find me on Facebook at J Cook. And if you want to purchase any merch to support the brand, it's theinfluentiallifestyle.com.
There it is.
Nice.
There it is.
Nice. So our hour is way up, but I would love the opportunity and be honored if each of you would return for us to do a part two, and talk
Sure.
specifically about are Black men seen? Are they heard? And Shah had touched on this, being a Black man in a relationship. I know some of you, well, most of you are married, but you didn't get there overnight, right? So just for us to get together again and to really listen to the Black man and what he has to say. You guys are wonderful parts of our community, right? You're wonderful parts of our community. You make our lives better, easier, right? Whether it be because you're unc, you're a mentor, you're the professor, you guys contribute, but there's so much more to y'all. There's so much more to Tyrone than just Mr. Chocolate, So I'd love that opportunity for you to join us on the experience again so we could dive a little deeper with you
Sure.
all. I
This was
definitely
their idea. This was their topic.
what
So,
It was guilty. It was.
it was, but like I said, y'all are deep. You can get deeper and learn so much more from our Black men if we just stop and listen.
like that. You
Right?
want to learn about your Black man. I like that. I like that. That's nice.
Boy, shut your whole
I like
Your whole
What?
face.
I like
your
it.
whole face.
That being said,
Just
learn
he's
about that Black
always
man.
been like this in the 20 years that I've known him. He's always been like this.
we will definitely have a part two, and hopefully have some additional Black men on the show so they can share their opinions. But I'm gonna slide it to the experiences Black man to wrap us up. So go ahead, Mr. Chocolate.
All right. Hey, you still watching? Go ahead, hit the like button before you leave real quick. Hit the like button. You've been watching the whole time. Hit the like button. Help us out. Help us out. All right. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, go to YouTube, click subscribe, hit that bell. Help us out. Help some Black people out here. All right. All right. So be a part of the experience, where the experience is always good. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.